In this episode of Fictional Hangover, we talk about building lightsabers, Hayden Christensen's acting abilities, Chewbacca sounds, and R2-D2 beep boops in our discussion of Ahsoka by E.K. Johnston. Gosh, those are the worst Chewbacca sounds that have ever come out of human throats. Hey everybody, welcome to Fictional Hangover, a podcast about young adult and new adult books, series, authors, and voice actors that is full of spoilers. I'm Amanda. Stop holding up Chewbacca, you're ruining things.
And I'm Claire. And today we're going to discuss Ahsoka by E.K. Johnston.
Standard disclaimer. If you haven't read this book, please remember that Fictional Hangover is all about spoilers. If you haven't read or listened and don't want to be spoiled, stop listening to us and go read or listen to the book. Then come back. If you haven't done this but want to pretend that you have, or if you don't care about spoilers, or if you just like the show so much that you don't care about any of that, then listen up. I started in my head, I was trying to think of a way to throw in Chewbacca, and then I got my words mixed up in my head, and then it was just downhill from there.
And I'm sitting here all innocent with my Chewbacca.
Then, okay, and then I was thinking that I just wanted, I wish that I could make the Chewbacca sound, because if I could, then I would have said, or if you just like the show so much that you don't care about any of that, then Chewbacca sound. But I also thought about that while I was saying all of that out loud. So, yeah, sorry everyone.
You can edit that in.
Maybe I will. Maybe I will. Or maybe I'll just leave it just like this and it's fine. Everything's fine.
I apologise now if I accidentally press his voice box. I will attempt not to, because it is a robust one. Do you need to give it a good squeeze? And my lightsaber's down, and the other one is on the shelf. So good.
Okay.
It's not the squeeze like last week. We're not getting back into that conversation. It's inappropriate.
Oh. So it's a new month.
May the Force be with you!
Yay!
Ba 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 ba.
It's really good.
Ba 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 ba. Sorry, not sorry.
I know you're not sorry. I don't know if we're gonna make it through this episode.
We will.
It'll be fine. I feel like we should start out. There should be another disclaimer at the beginning of this. We both love Star Wars.
Yes.
But you love Star Wars approximately 12 times more than I do.
Yes.
But we both love it.
Yes.
But you just love it more.
Potentially, yes.
Yes.
Did you ever see the Ewoks cartoon when you were little?
No.
Oh. There was an Ewoks cartoon, and there was a shaman wizard Ewok. And I used to know all these magic spells.
That's fun.
I was 5.
I
don't remember them now.
No, I didn't watch that. I watched The Real Ghostbusters.
Yes, I watched that as well.
Yeah.
Visionaries, Thundercats,
Transformers, Ninja Turtles,
yes,
X-Men.
Of course. But Moon, we've had that discussion. It's very British. It's excessively British.
Yeah. Anyway.
Biking mice from Mars. Cities of Gold.
I don't know that one.
Dog Tanyan and the Musker Hounds.
You're just saying sounds. Those aren't even words.
Inspector Gadget. I didn't like Inspector Gadget.
It was kind of weird. I watched a lot of it, but...
We used to watch it in French class. Yeah, in French, obviously.
You just watched it in English in French class. Your teacher checked out.
I wouldn't put it past out my French teacher, to be fair.
Au revoir.
Anywho.
Here's Inspector Gadget.
Hey, I didn't have the worst French accent my French teacher had ever heard for nothing.
Anyway, that's not what we're talking about today.
No. Do you have background information about Star Wars?
I do. I do. I read a transcript from a panel at Salt Lake Comic-Con from 2016. And the panel is called Star Wars Books, Writing the Force, featuring E.K. Johnston, Christy Golden, Cecil Castellucci, and Matt Martin, who have all written a plethora of Star Wars books. And
I would hope so. Otherwise, why
are they there? So the authors were asked, what are some of the influences on your writing? Other writers? And Cecil Castellucci answered, for Star Wars or for my writing in general? Because for my writing in general, my influence is Star Wars. But then E.K. Johnston says, this was something that was weird about writing the Ahsoka book. It's my only book that doesn't have Star Wars references. Then she says, the number of times I typed out, that's not how the Force works, and then erased it, was in the double digits. So, clearly, she's a fan. There was also some talk about how she was able to write the characters, and she talked about how she really likes writing fan fiction, and now this is weird because it's canon, and there was a whole lot. There were a lot of good interviews about this book.
Cool. Yeah, I remember when it came out, everybody was like, "Oh my god, Ahsoka's getting her own book," because she's not in the movies at all. She is a creation of Clone Wars, but she just took off.
Yeah, and now she's in Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So
Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited.
Is that your initial thoughts, that you're very excited?
Yeah. It was going to be... I
thought you were going to squeeze Chewbacca again. That's your initial thought. Can that be my initial thought? Good.
I'll bring you down.
Thank you for that.
Chewbacca can be your initial thoughts
if
you want.
Thanks. I appreciate it. I'm glad you're not even making him make his own noises. You are making the noises now.
It goes on for too long.
Oh my god, we're terrible doing Chewbacca. Stop it. It's the worst thing that's ever happened.
Let the Wookiee win.
Can we start the summary? I'm just going to start
the episode again.
Oh, we probably should. You do whatever you want to do. I'm going to start reading the summary, okay? Okay. We start with a flashback. Mandalore burns around them as Ahsoka Tano and Darth Maul face off against each other. Though she is no longer Jedi Padawan to Anakin Skywalker, Ahsoka remembers her teachings. Ahsoka remains calm, her plan set. Darth Maul raises and activates his lightsaber, swiftly moving forward. The time to exchange barbs is over. The familiar hum of her own lightsabers ring in her ears as Maul lunges forward. As they lock weapons, Ahsoka's unseen allies spring the trap. Ahsoka throws herself clear as the ray shield comes to life, trapping Maul. I'm so glad I put my hand up. She just held up Darth Maul, everyone, while I was reading. I had to hide what she was doing. And then I pulled my hand down.
I turned my volume off so you wouldn't hear me messing around.
Yep. I put my hand down and it was just Darth Maul's face, so...
Since leaving the Jedi Temple, Ahsoka has been on her own, but she knew the Jedi was still out there, through the ebb and flow of the Force. When Order 66 was enacted, she knew she was alone. Now Ahsoka lives in solitude as Ashla on the outer rim planet of the Beskar. It's Empire Day, the 1-year anniversary commemorating the establishment of order and government by Emperor Palpatine. Boo! This is not a celebration for Ahsoka. There is a call from outside Ashla's home. Some neighbour children are calling out to her. The Fardys, a local family with fingers in all sorts of businesses, took her under their wing. Today, the children have come with a warning. Their father is hosting a fancy guest, and any new people are to come and meet them. Another points out that there are a lot of ships in the shipyard for the celebratory flyby, and security, it's a disaster. Promising to see them after she has freshened up, Ahsoka gathers her meagre belongings and her blaster and heads to a conveniently placed out-of-the-way farthest ship, avoiding the stormtrooper patrols on the way. Soon she is off-planet.
The moon of Raeda is out of the way by Outer Rim standards, and somewhere Ahsoka can be unremarkable. The moon is green and growing, a contrast to the dust of the Beskha, and the settlement was so small it seemed to barely exist. Walking through, Ahsoka notes that there doesn't seem to be a lot of transients, and the homes look well established. Heading to the outskirts, Ahsoka finds a few abandoned houses, and as she's looking at one that seems more sound than the others, she meets Kaden. Their initial conversation is somewhat wary, but not unfriendly, which is understandable since, they're strangers. Ahsoka tells her she is here to set up a shop as a mechanic. Kaden will spread the word and encourages the mechanic to take the house.
The next day, as Ahsoka is meditating, a rare luxury, Kaden returns with a thresher that needs to be fixed. She got into a fight with it, and though she may have come off worse with the wound on her leg, Kaden insists she has the moral victory. Ahsoka fixes it in exchange for a crate of food, and they talk about Raeda. It's a harvest season on the quiet farming moon, and the Empire doesn't have any presence there. Throughout their discussion, Ahsoka avoids talking about herself, though she has a cover story ready. After finishing the repair, Ahsoka heads back to her ship to see what supply she has of her own. It seems she'll need them.
The next day, Ahsoka heads out to explore the area. She needs to set up an emergency fallback point. Walking through the hills, Ahsoka falls into her memories and it becomes hard to breathe. She remembers her time as Anakin Skywalker's Padawan, Master Obi-Wan, and the clone troopers. After Order 66 was carried out, it felt like a huge void was created in the Force. Ahsoka finds a suitable cave and starts to hide some of the scrap metal from the thresher repair. This will do for a start.
Back in the fields, Kaden's thresher is working as if it were brand new, and people are starting to notice. Tibola, one of the older farmers and a mean drunk, says he'll stop by with his own thresher to be fixed. Miara, Kaden's sister, is curious over the newcomer, and so is Vartan, their crew leader. Twins, Nira and Hoban, and Mallet. They encourage Kaden to ask the newcomer to Selda's cantina that night for dinner, and she accepts. The cantina is incredibly loud and crammed full of people, with the exception of Tibola, who she met earlier that afternoon. Ahsoka meets Kaden's crew and introduces herself as Ashla. They are all welcoming and friendly. Zelda, the canteen's namesake owner, bartender, and fellow Togruta, comes over and quietly checks that Ahsoka is set up okay and hasn't encountered any problems on one of the core worlds, since the Empire are notoriously unsympathetic to non-humans. The Empire are racist, in other words.
Yeah.
Ahsoka thanks him and assures him she is fine.
Meanwhile, Jenneth Pilar is looking at the lights on a star chart. He works for the Empire, ensuring the pathways of supply by pointing the Imperial military at a planet and taking what they want. At the moment, he needs a planet that could be used for food production, preferably with a small population that no one would miss. Raeda suits his needs perfectly.
Flashback. Ahsoka stands over the grave of Rex, the clone trooper she saved, which had allowed Darth Maul to escape. The grave is fake. Rex has disappeared in the Outer Rim, and so will she. As she turns to go, Ahsoka takes out her lightsabers given to her by her former master and turns them on one last time. Extinguishing the energy, Ahsoka plants the hilts into the dirt and leaves.
Ahsoka falls into the rhythm of Raeda and has been accepted by the settlement. During the day, she either works on repairs or goes exploring. Today, she needs to run. Gathering her things and more pieces to hide in her fallback cave, Ahsoka heads out. All the way, she has felt out of balance, so at the cave, she takes the time to meditate. Connecting deeply to the planet, Ahsoka feels something in the air. Her consciousness races back, and she can feel the stone of the cave vibrating. Looking out the mouth of the cave, Ahsoka sees an Imperial Star Destroyer dwarfing the settlement. The Empire has arrived.
Walking slowly back through the settlement, Ahsoka heads to the cantina rather than home while watching more Imperial ships land. Once there, Zelda nods welcome, but there is also something else in his look, so Ahsoka takes a bar stool rather than usual table in the back. While she waits for Cade and the crew to arrive, Ahsoka listens to the theories being tossed around until a couple of Imperial officers and stormtroopers come. The officers sit nursing a drink while the troopers stand guard. Cade and her crew come in, and Ahsoka takes that as an opportunity to move.
As they play a game of croquet, which will allow conversation, Ahsoka asks if any are clone troopers, and her friends think not. This is somewhat good news, as it will help Ahsoka keep her identity secret. They also discuss the reason why the Empire has suddenly turned up on their moon, and there's really only one commodity: food. Ahsoka mentions that it may be a good plan to start hiding ration packs. A third officer of high rank comes into the cantina, offers a disgusted glare at the masses, and pins a notice to the door before leaving, the other officers and troopers going with him. Zelda reads the notice first, then Ahsoka takes a look. It's all tactics meant to oppress the people, such as shortening cantina hours, restricting food, and limiting gathering numbers. Ahsoka's mind races, recalling her military background. Raeda doesn't have much of anything to fight with, so hopefully the Empire will take what they want and go. But that isn't likely.
No. The next morning, 2 stormtroopers knock on Ahsoka's door, questioning why she isn't in the fields and threatening reassignment there. With a little mental nudge, using the Force, Ahsoka is able to dissuade them of that idea. Next, she plans to secure more rations and parts in her cave and find somewhere to hide her ship. It's tense walking through the settlement and out to the hills. Typically, it's quiet as most are in the fields, but today it's eerie. Ahsoka is quick enough to store her treasures, but it takes a while to find a suitable hiding spot for her ship. Ahsoka finds a gully that will do, though her ship may protest being sideways, and she wishes she had R2-D2 to help navigate it in. But she's on her own. Back at the settlement, she sees a few of the settlers and the troopers constructing an admin building now that the Star Destroyer is no longer in the atmosphere. Heading to the spaceport, Ahsoka is able to bamboozle the guard there, who is so new he's practically green, and retrieve her ship. She was right. R2-D2 would have made it easier, and the ship really doesn't like being sideways.
Ahsoka is late getting back to the cantina, so Kaden and the crew are already there, with the exception of Malat, who is taking her family and leaving. The rest are playing a game of croquet, which doesn't resemble any known variant of the game, and the pieces look awfully similar to the settlement layout. With a quick movement as she sits, Ahsoka upsets the pieces and warns them against such blatant planning. Just then, some Imperial officers enter, dislodge the customers from the bar stools, and effectively cut Zelda off from his customers. This upsets Tibola, who is already very drunk, and starts to throw his fists. The officers order the troopers, who forcefully put Tibola on the floor before one of them pulls out a blaster and shoots him at point-blank range, killing him.
My goodness. I mean, the guy was a jerk, but I don't think he deserved that.
Yeah! Sheesh.
Bloody Imperial.
Sheesh.
Vartan and the twins take Tibola's body for burial, while Miara and Kaiten stay behind. Miara vomiting in a bowl at the site, which, yeah, I'm with you there,
Reasonable.
girl. Ahsoka warns them they need to be quiet and to sit tight. If they go blaster blazing or exploding things, they are not going to accomplish anything but their own deaths. Kaiten tells her that word in the fields is that the Imperials are bringing their own seed, for which Riada will receive nothing of. Ahsoka tells them they need to slow production and tells Vartan and the other crew leads to arrange the particulars, but that will only buy them time. Meanwhile, she'll slow down her repairs and slacken off on the quality. As curfew draws in, they head home. Before she leaves the cantina, Zelda gives Ahsoka a box of leftover food.
1 week becomes 2, and Ahsoka continues to explore the hills and finds a network suitable to set up as a safe house. It wasn't obvious at first, but Vartan and the other crew leads have worked out what the crop is that they are being forced to grow. It's a plant that provides the basic nutrition rations the Imperial Army survives on, and growing it on Raeda will leave the soil infertile. It's really kind of them. In the cantina one evening, Ahsoka tells Vartan's crew about the caves. The crew are a little shocked by her forward thinking and secret plans. Ahsoka asks to use Kaden and Miara to help build some little surprises for the Imperial Army, which will hit them hard. After Ahsoka leaves, Hoban tells Miara that she should also build some explosives with more firepower in case they need them, and Ahsoka doesn't need to know because she's not from around here. Ugh.
Meanwhile, Jeneth Pilar has been running the numbers again for the operation. He never took the hills into account in his calculations. Flashback time. Ahsoka is on Thebesca and found some sort of sanctuary with the father's family. One day, the daughters are playing where they shouldn't be and are nearly crushed by falling crates. Ahsoka used her force powers to move the crates away. The girls didn't seem to notice. Well, all except one, very young Hidala. Ahsoka later saw Hidala playing with a stone without touching it. Gasp!
For the next couple of days, excuses are made for Kaden and Miara missing work in the fields while they hold up in the caves as Miara makes the corrosive bombs Ahsoka asked for, the explosives she didn't, and set the cave up to be able to take more people if needed. Ahsoka also moves her stash into this network, including her bag of scrap, the contents of which is beginning to take shape in her mind. I wonder what she's gonna build with her scrap metal. Meanwhile, in the fields, Varden is recruiting farmers to their rebellion, and Hoban is busy with his own plans.
Ahsoka leads the stealthy mission to disable the Imperial walkers, using Miara's corrosive bombs to buckle them at the knee joints. It's a good old plan, isn't it?
It really is. It really is.
It's classic. It all goes well until Miara hands Ahsoka an explosive charge and Ahsoka realises there is a secondary plan. When her small group rendezvous at Zelda's, Ahsoka finds out that Hoban, Kaden and some of the others have gone to blow up the admin building without considering the consequences. The barracks will empty when the alarm is sounded for the broken walkers and the troopers will receive their orders at the admin building.
Smart.
Yeah. Ahsoka tells those congregated in Zelda's to disavow any knowledge and to head home, while she, followed by Miara, heads back to the Imperial compound.
While Nira and Miara help funnel their people out into the caves, Ahsoka goes to the front in the thickest fighting. It's not pretty. There are explosions, blaster fire, and tank fire everywhere, and Ahsoka badly wishes she had her lightsabers. The fighting is over quickly with many injured and killed, including Hoban, who was ripped apart at close range by a barrage of blaster fire. Ahsoka even reveals her force powers as she lets it flow through her to push the Imperial firing line back. Once Ahsoka is sure the last of the Raeda people have gotten out, she makes her way to the cave where Kaden and the others are waiting to find out exactly who Ahsoka is. Meanwhile, Jeneth Pilar has new calculations to make and a report to send, notifying command of a Force user on Raeda.
But you know he liked getting his calculator back out.
Oh my god, yes.
He's the type who has a pocket protector.
Oh, he does.
Ahsoka tells Kaden and Miara her real name and that she couldn't tell them because, Jedi, even former Jedi, are being hunted. It's not safe for anyone. This does not placate them. In fact, it makes Kaden even madder and she goes stomping off back to the settlement only to be caught by the Imperials. Kaden realises her mistake straight away and the torture she endures convinces her she really made a bad decision in leaving the cave.
Yeah, you did.
The first Imperial torturer fixes a device to her chest and the pain it causes is unbearable. After she's medicated and a second torturer comes in to question and threaten her, at one point she, along with the chair she's tied to, falls over at an awkward angle, breaking her arm. The Imperial just keeps asking questions. Eventually they leave her alone, but with the threat of more pain to come.
Stealthily, and with some force powers, Ahsoka is able to locate Kaden in the administration building and extract her through the window. Slowly, they make their way back to the caves. Ahsoka instructs Kaden to lay low and keep hidden with the others. She says she needs to leave Raeda for everyone's safety, but she'll be back. She'll be back.
Wrong franchise.
Damn.
Bail Organa is buried in bureaucracy and secrets. As well as being the senator for Alderaan, Bail is a key member for the Resistance. Making sure his daughter is distracted by the fish tank he had installed in his office, Bail looks over an encoded dossier. On a little moon in the Outer Rim, Jedi activity has been confirmed. Could there be a survivor? He needs to contact Captain Antilles and discuss this with his wife. Meanwhile, sixth brother is bored. All the Fardy children look the same, and being stuck on Thebesca, a dry backwater planet, is tedious. When a report comes in of Jedi activity, he quickly makes a bid. The Jedi make better prey.
There aren't a lot of options for places Ahsoka can flee to, so she ends up back on Thebesca. The Fardy's family take her back in and let her live in their house, and she's even able to work as a mechanic for them too. She only explains a little of why she has returned to Chenna, Hadala's older sister, because she can't give her the whole truth. Ahsoka also needs to speak to Hadala and warn the young Fardy of the danger she is in being force-sensitive, but finding a quiet moment in such a busy household is difficult. It takes 5 days before Ahsoka has the opportunity. Hadala sensed a shadow that left just before Ahsoka's return, but she made sure to hide from the shadow, and she didn't tell her family about it, as she didn't think they would believe her. This assures Ahsoka somewhat. The girl knows to keep what she is hidden from the darkness. Tiny, smart little thing.
Oh yeah, she's the brains of the operation. Soon, Ahsoka is making deliveries in addition to her mechanic jobs. She knew the Fardys dealt in smuggling, but what she didn't expect was to see the gratitude in the faces of those she made deliveries to. Eventually, Ahsoka moves on to off-world deliveries and finds that she can help in her own way, and coincidentally, air quotes, run into people who need help. Her good work does not go unnoticed.
Sixth brother is unimpressed by Jenneth Pilar and is quick to dismiss the bureaucrat. He has a bigger quarry. Clearly, the Jedi fled Raeda, so sixth brother needs to find and torture the insurgents instead. Reasonable.
It's a happy holiday today.
It should be a neat little trap for the Jedi. On Coruscant, Bail Organa is reading a report of several lucky coincidences. He sends one of his pilots, Chardy Tage, and his longtime co-pilot Tamsin to look for this ringleader of good deeds and contact him once the objective has been secured. Back on Thebesca, stormtroopers are paying the Fardys a visit. The routine search goes without incident, but it seems the Fardys' less than legal resistance activities Ahsoka was an ignorant pawn in is drawing unwanted attention. Ahsoka has to leave. Shock, she has to leave again. Before going to grab her belongings, including the bag of scrap that has grown since she came back to Thebesca, Ahsoka warns the Fardys that Hadala is special, and no one realizes just how special she is. Special. But she's sorry she can't do more to help.
Ahsoka flies to a relatively close planet to take inventory and plan her next steps. But when she lands, another ship lands next to her. The single pilot in unidentifiable black armour informs pilot Ashla she has come to the attention of Black Sun. Meanwhile, on Raeda, sixth brother is appraised of Caden's appearance and injury, which should mark her out. Calling up a map of the moon, the Inquisitor starts to look for a place a large group of insurgents could hide. Caden and the others are still hiding in the caves, bored and worried, but still alive. Miara has lost faith that Ahsoka will come back despite her promise, but Caden still has hope. As they are talking, Colvin, who was on sentry duty, comes in reporting a lone figure approaching. It's decided to blow up some of the side entrances using Miara's charges to lock the cave down.
Ahsoka is not interested in Black Sun or their offer of double the fees she received from Fardys. She is especially not interested in the supposed debt for lost earnings she has accrued with them. Why? Why would you... Why?
Bloody black sun, honestly.
Why? Ahsoka runs back onto her ship as the Black Sun agent fires their blaster at her. Taking off, the agent is quick to follow in their sleeker, more predatory ship. They dogfight in the atmosphere until a third ship joins the fray. This one is big and has cannons too, which are aimed at the Black Sun agent. The agent does not stand a chance, but before Ahsoka can jump to light speed, she's caught in a tractor beam.
Ah, dang it. On Riada, Miara has closed up some of the entrances to the cave just as the figure reaches the hill. The figure shouts for Caden to come out. Frightened but determined, Caden will go, while the others in the cave will go look out holes and blast them. Miara insists on going with her sister, but Nira knocks Miara out. She knows the pain of losing a sibling. Caden exits the cave, but no shot finds its mark. The figure uses its force powers to drag out Colvin and choke him, all the while using its double-edged red lightsaber to send the bolts back, killing the person who fired. It's a bloodbath.
While her ship is being pulled into the cargo hold of the bigger ship, Ahsoka selects a pair of bastons and waits for the hatch to open. Two figures are waiting for her, but she doesn't let them finish their sentences before knocking them out cold. Sneaking through the ship, she heads to the bridge, only to find an old friend. R2-D2! Yay! The droid beeps happily and fills Ahsoka in as to what is going on. At first, not able to share which senator he works for now, but eventually revealing that it's Bail Organa. Ahsoka promises that if R2 will release her ship, she'll come in to meet Bail, but it has to be on her terms. R2 agrees. Bail tries not to laugh at Charger's report. Neither pilot saw the Jedi. R2-D2 has been disabled and the security footage scrubbed. Well, all but one small shot from the engine room, where a pair of Montrals with familiar markings can be seen. Ahsoka Tano lives. Bail realizes R2-D2 knows Ahsoka from her time as Skywalker's Padawan. The little metal devil helped her. Of course he did. He understands Ahsoka's caution and feels sure that they will meet soon. Very soon, because she's waiting for him when he goes back to his office.
With the help of R2 opening a hatch, Ahsoka is able to board Bail's ship in secret. Bail wants to recruit Ahsoka to the rebellion. He knows what she is capable of and wants her to help fight against the Emperor. Ahsoka feels the credit is ill-deserved given what happened on Riada. Ahsoka will join not to command others, but to find the thing hunting down the children displaying force sensitivity. This aligns perfectly for Bail as he has received reports of a strong Imperial agent on Riada. In the pictures, one is of the Grave creature, whose face is obscured, and the other is Caden. Ahsoka knows it's time she returns to Riada, but not before she rests, eats something, and completes one final task.
Ahsoka dreams of being on the frozen planet of Ilum, looking for the crystal she would put into her first lightsaber. When she wakes, Ahsoka whispers her thanks to Master Yoda before spilling out the collection of scrap and constructing 2 new hilts. Surprise, everyone! She's making her lightsabers. They are inelegant, but functional. Now, she just needs to find her new crystals.
Ooh, I'm so excited. Declining Bail's offer of a new ship, which is far too shiny and conspicuous, Ahsoka agrees to having assistance in her upcoming mission and R2-D2's help repairing her ship. Soon, Ahsoka is off to Ilum. When she exits hyperspace, there are 2 Star Destroyers and a massive mining ship in orbit, and the planet's surface has been destroyed.
Damn.
Sneaking away so the Star Destroyer doesn't detect her, Ahsoka finds a quiet place to meditate. As she falls deeper into meditation, she sees the glimmer of her crystals light years away. On Riada. Oh my god!
She hears them, they're singing to her. Come to me.
Come to us, Ahsoka. Come to us. We're so shiny.
Landing on Raeda in the dark, and on the opposite side of the moon, Ahsoka heads back to the settlement on foot. On the way, Ahsoka comes across a lone figure sitting by a fire. It's Miara. Tears spilling, Miara tells Ahsoka about waking up surrounded by her dead friends and neighbors, Kaden being captured, and the gray figure. Ahsoka enters another meditation to center herself for the fight to come and locate her crystals. As the sun breaks the horizon, Ahsoka Tano feels whole again. Oh, it's happening!
Ahsoka and Miara make it to the settlement without issue. While Ahsoka infiltrates the Imperial compound and rescues Kaden, Miara finds Zelda and Vartan and helps direct the people out of the settlement. Then Ahsoka walks openly toward the Imperial compound. It isn't long before the shouts of "Jedi" can be heard. The grey creature speaks from the shadows, mocking and ridiculing the Jedi. This does not affect Ahsoka, who is using the Force to sense his presence. When he jumps from a rooftop, Ahsoka is ready. Their fight is fast and furious. The creature has brute strength, reinforced by body armour, wears a helmet with the face shield up, and wields his double-edged lightsaber. Though Ahsoka doesn't yet have her lightsabers, the Force flows strong and she can read the grey creature's feelings. Stormtroopers line the walls of the street, watching the spectacle. Ahsoka can tell the creature's intention is to overpower her, but she has other ideas. As the creature spins his blades in an impressive, if needlessly showing circle, Ahsoka uses the Force and reaches out for her crystal. The hilt of his lightsaber cracks at Ahsoka's touch, and the light and dark song of the crystal's struggle for balance reaches Ahsoka's ears. The red lightsaber overloads and bursts, leaving the creature in a burned mess on the ground. Kneeling, Ahsoka sifts through the wreckage and finds her crystals. Entering a meditative state while the stormtroopers rally, Ahsoka completes her lightsabers. When she turns them on, they shine the brightest white. Ooh, it's so exciting!
As the Imperials' only target, Ahsoka is able to draw their attention and make her way into the compound and to Kaden. Ahsoka frees those held in the prison block, directing them to Zelda's. When Ahsoka opens Kaden's cell, Kaden notes Ahsoka looks more focused and powerful. Kaden tells Ahsoka she could kiss her, which comes to a shock to Ahsoka, but not to us, as we squeak. Helping support Kaden, the two head to Zelda's.
She's so blind to the
I know.
The cantina is a hive of people. When Miara spots Kaden, she throws herself at her sister. But what's next? Ahsoka has arranged for some old friends to help with an evacuation. Outside, people are organised into groups and start heading to the outskirts of the settlement. In the background, the Imperial compound is burning. In the air, A-wings Bail sent start flying in. A few Imperial fighters manage to get into the air, which some of the A-wings break off to deal with, and the sight entrances Miara. As evacuation transport ships appear in low orbit, one A-wing takes too much damage and the pilot is able to eject, but another wasn't so lucky. The Rayada evacuees start to board the ship, but Ahsoka stays on the ground to deal with the Imperial tanks, making short order of the threat using only her lightsabers. Unfortunately, Vartan is hit by one of the tank blasts. Alive, but badly injured, Ahsoka carries him on board and they take off.
Ahsoka breaks into Bail's office again, where no one is shocked.
She doesn't use doors.
The evacuation of Rayada was a success. There were only 15 casualties. Vartan survived and was given a pair of Zelda's prosthetics. Ahsoka tells Bail about the gray creature, how she is sure he wasn't the only one, and how he shows some Force sensitivity, though it was unrefined. The Rayada refugees are also requesting not to be resettled. Rather, they want to join the rebellion and help in any way that they can. Bail then asks to see Ahsoka's new lightsabers. He's never seen white ones before.
Ooh, they're so shiny.
Ahsoka tells him they were red from the corruption by the dark side of the Force, and she freed them. They also feel familiar. Ahsoka thinks they were looted from the Jedi Temple.
Talk turns to how Ahsoka can help the rebellion. She doesn't want to be a general or a Padawan anymore, but something in the middle. Ahsoka wants to help open channels of communication. Her dealings with the people on Riada and the incident with Chardry show how much it's needed. Ahsoka wants to take care of recruits and find missions, listen to the needs of the people and help them succeed. Bale says that, essentially, she wants to run the intelligence network, which is perfect, as there isn't anyone doing that at the moment. You're hired!
Oh, yay!
Her code name will be Fulcrum.
Meanwhile, on the smoking fields of Riada, the Grand Inquisitor glares at the ground. The Jedi had done more than anyone expected. He found the body of one of his own kind, and in his pursuit, he won't be so reckless. He knows the value of channeling hate more usefully and the value of a plan. As he holds the hilt of his lightsaber, he instructs an underling to set course back to base and inform Lord Vader that he has found evidence of another survivor. Ooh. Excellent.
Exactly, Chewie. Exactly.
Do you know...
Chewie says we should go for a break.
I think that you're right, but I just want to say that when you said exactly Chewie, I thought you said Sacagawea. I didn't understand why. Anyway.
We definitely need a break.
We do need a break.
Have you ever wondered what Tina Fey has in common with Jonathan Swift?
Or how Star Wars is connected to feudal Japan?
Or just how pervasive Shakespeare's influence still is? I'm Rhonda.
And I'm Erin.
And our show Pop DNA explores the literary and historical roots of your favorite pop culture works.
Like the Greek mythology and early 20th century feminism echoed in the film Wonder Woman.
Or the classic dystopian fiction and real-life political revolutions that informed the Hunger Games.
Every month, we bring you a deep dive discussion of a selected pop culture work,
featuring jokes no one will think are funny and literary references no one asked for.
Find us at thepopdna.blog.
Or anywhere you get your podcasts.
By the way, Shakespeare is bigger than Disney.
Are we back? Are we back from our break?
Yeah, why not?
Did you
Did
you love this one? You like Ahsoka.
I do like Ahsoka. I like the character of Ahsoka. I think it's because the modern day Star Wars, and we've talked about this before, we've talked about with Brie as well, that Star Wars is better now because it's got stronger female characters in.
Yeah.
And Ahsoka is one of them. And I do really enjoy it where a character who's been created for a very specific reason. She was created as Anakin Skywalker's Padawan in the Clone Wars series, and in theory that was it. Then she appeared in Rebels, and now she's in The Mandalorian, and goodness knows where else it's going to go. She may even end up with her own series, because it's kind of like the Harley Quinn effect from the Batman animated series. Harley Quinn was created for that show, and now she is a cultural entity in and of herself, and Ahsoka's done that same thing, and I freaking love that.
Yeah.
I love it, and it just goes to prove how a strong female character can really just lift itself off the medium it's been created for and just infuse all over the fandom. And yeah, I love that.
I feel like Ahsoka is a better role model than Harley Quinn.
Yes.
I would much rather
definitely.
see tiny children dressed up for Halloween as Ahsoka than as Harley Quinn, especially...
I do not like tiny children dressed up as Harley Quinn.
No, if you're wearing the Jester costume Harley Quinn, that's fine, but not the live action one. She's too sexualized to be a tiny girl's hero.
Yeah, if you know the background as well, like if you've read any basic Harley Quinn books, the abuse that she's gone throughout her life as well is huge.
Yeah, but we're not talking
and it's
about.
inappropriate.
But we're not talking about Harley Quinn right now.
We aren't. We're talking about Ahsoka.
We are.
Yeah, I do like Ahsoka. She's just this little. I mean, if you haven't seen Clone Wars, she starts off as a very young. She is a teenage girl, and she does play well with Anakin Skywalker. He's overly serious at times, and reckless, and she's learning that kind of recklessness. But then you see her in The Mandalorian and how much she's grown and matured. And I said this just the other night after we watched Book of Boba Fett, actually, that whenever you see Ahsoka as an adult, as the Rosario Dawson, the live action portrayal, it's like she's finally gone, yes, I'm finally at that mature age that a former Jedi can reach, where I do not have to answer the questions. I answer you with a question and make you think about it. It's like, oh, damn it, And she's finally reached that stage. It's hilarious. For me, I find that hilarious. But yeah, it's nice to see her go from the young Padawan into this mature character.
Yeah.
Really enjoy it. And throughout this entire book, I've just gone, she's keeping the scrap to make the help.
I know. You kept texting me the whole time like, she's going to make her lightsaber. She's going to make her lightsaber. When is she going to do it? When is she going to do it?
They're on the cover. Let's have them. I know she wields dual white lightsabers.
Where are they?
I need them.
She doesn't have them yet. Where are they?
Here's the scrap woman. All the way through. And then when she's like, you cannot hear the word lightsaber or think about people having a lightsaber battle or turning a lightsaber on and not in your head go.
See, now that's something that I enjoyed about the audiobook, even though I will say that I did find it distracting. But the audiobook is very cinematic and is scored by John Williams, and there are all sorts of sound effects, like R2-D2 is there and he's doing his beep boops, and doors open and people get slapped and they drop stuff, and it's loud crashes and bangs and explosions, and also lightsaber sounds. So I enjoyed listening to the audiobook, but as everyone knows, we listen to audio at least double speed, which many narrators don't like it when you listen at double speed, because you're like, hey, you're speeding up my voice. Why did I do this? Why did I put so much into it if you're just going to speed it up? But I mean, I like to read books and I read fast, so I need the audio to match how fast my brain is working, so I have to speed up my audiobooks. But anyway, the cinematicness of the audiobook was kind of distracting at some points, but now I'm listening to a book we're going to be covering in a few weeks, Rebel Rising, and it's the same. So I have just determined that all Star Wars audiobooks are cinematic.
Interesting. I've never actually listened to a Star Wars audiobook, but I am interested to listen to one now to hear the cinema.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. It really, really is. But sometimes it just got to be a little too much. It was a little distracting, and sometimes it was honestly a little too loud. I
remember when we covered the Vampire Academy series, and all of a sudden they introduced random music at random times.
Yes.
Like, tense moment, introduce the music, and we were like,
tinkly
what?
Sound effects happening.
Yeah, it was like, oh my god, this is dreadful. And then you got used to it, and then it turned funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm the same as you. I have to listen to double speed, and I realised it's not just because I can get through an audiobook in half the time, but it's the reading speed. It's the same as the reading speed, so it's quite natural.
Yeah, I mean, I read so quickly Like, I can't listen to it very slowly. I just can't do it.
It's just, yeah. And I personally don't think I lose anything in the performance.
No, of course not.
But yeah, I'm going to have to listen to it now. A Star Wars audiobook.
Yeah. The narrator of this one is Ashley Eckstein, and
Yes.
she did a great job. Like,
she voices Ahsoka in the Clone Wars.
it was wonderful. It was amazing. It was amazingly done. But some of the...
She has a fantastic... She's got her own company called Her Universe. And the geek stuff, it's not just Star Wars. It covers a wide spectrum of geek apparel. And it's aimed at majority for female purchasers.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of unisex as well.
Right.
And it's fantastic. And I do have some Her Universe pieces as well
That's
when
fine.
I've been in America. But a lot of the licenses don't send over here. So it's a rarity that I've been able to pick up pieces. But yes, they
Yeah.
are very, very fun.
So she was amazing.
Yeah.
Stellar narration. But some of the sound effects
Professional
were...
voice actress, so it's good.
Yeah, it was amazing. But some of the audio, like, drowned her out a little bit. Like, there was... You know, it was nice at the beginning or whenever they're sitting around a crackling fire and there's crackling fire sounds in the background. And you're like, oh, that's really cool. But then, you know, it, like, starts raining and then there's... And the narration is going...
Like, the action scenes as well being quite difficult.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to give it a listen.
It's interesting. It's not bad. I should say that. It's not bad. But it's a little bit distracting sometimes.
I think, considering the wide variety of audiobooks that you do listen to, it's going to stand out.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm very interested. I'll have a dive in.
Yeah.
I've just remembered there's two scenes I'm going to highlight as standout moments. Well, apart from when she puts her lightsabers on for the first time and I squeal like a little
Right,
girl
that's
nerd.
everyone's standout moment.
Yeah. Bail Organa, who is Leia's adopted dad, and the fact he has a fish tank in his office to specifically distract Leia.
Just to keep her distracted, it's funny.
Its sole purpose is to keep her busy, and she's like a toddler, and he's like, "Did she learn to read over the summer? Best be safe," and tilts his monitor so she can't see what he's reading. And she's a toddler. She's like 3 or 4 or something like that. Well, to be fair, if Order 66, if it's the 1 year anniversary of the Empire, she's like 1, 2, because Order 66 was enacted like the day after. It was like the day before she was born or something like that.
Yeah, she's not that old.
Yeah, she's not that old. She's old enough to be licking the side of the fish tank, which I found absolutely hilarious, and then giggling at the octopus inside. But what else we like was when Ahsoka and Bill are talking about R2-D2 and his massive independence streak, and it's like, where the heck did he get it from? And Bale's like, oh, well, you know, it's Anakin. And Ahsoka's like, no. Padme had R2-D2 a lot longer and first. That's where he gets it from. And I'm like,
Yay, Padme, yay! That was...
And then go on an absolute rant about how Padme and Anakin are a bad relationship. And
then you start talking about sand, and then you can't do it anymore.
yeah, exactly.
Those things that you were talking about, like seeing scenes with Bail, and then there's also scenes where she's like flashed back thinking about Anakin and Obi-Wan. Those were my favorite scenes because like we were talking about, I don't know if it was at the beginning of the episode or before we started recording, like I don't know a whole lot about Ahsoka. I haven't watched Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that she exists, and I knew that she existed before she was in The Mandalorian. Like, I know she is a character, and I know she's amazing and does cool things, but I didn't really I don't really know a lot about her. So when I read these scenes with Anakin and read these scenes with Obi-Wan, I'm like, oh yeah, I love these guys, because
that's your familiarity.
Yeah.
That's your exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm glad those scenes were in, because it helps anybody who hasn't seen Clone Wars to contextualize it.
Yeah.
These Star Wars books should not be reliant on the fact that people have seen all the movies,
Right,
and watched all the TV shows. You should be able to pick them up as a sci-fi reader,
yeah,
or just a reader,
yeah,
and enjoy them as is.
yeah, and I could.
And I think
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's like when we were talking about In Every Generation. Like, I wasn't a Buffy fan. I mean, the movie, we know this, stop talking about it, Amanda. Everyone knows how you feel about Buffy now. But I was able to pick up that book and read it and enjoy it and get into the universe because of that book. So I think if you hadn't read any Star Wars, you would be able to pick this book up and understand what was going on. Yeah, there are some things that are mentioned in passing that you wouldn't know about unless you've absorb the entire Star Wars universe, but you could pick it up and read it just fine without knowing anything, any background.
I think it's an easy introduction for people. It's an easy read as well.
Yeah,
it's apart from pronunciation of some words, which is a given in any sci-fi or fantasy book. It's an easy way to access it.
Yeah, it wasn't terribly long.
No.
When you said there's some difficult words to pronounce, it reminds me of one of the articles that I read for background information, and E.K. Johnston said that she's a pantser, so she just sits down and writes and it all comes out. That she went to a cabin without Wi-Fi, and so as she was writing it, she was like, I don't know how to spell that planet. So like she was just like typing in, that planet that guy was on. And so she would know to go back and look it up and like put the correct spelling of the word in. So I thought that was funny.
I love that. Oh, that's tickling me. Oh, yes. Yes, but as I was saying, it's an easy introduction. I think there are certain things, maybe having some basic Star Wars knowledge is helpful, like knowing what Order 66 is. If you've not seen the movies, you might not be clear on it.
Yeah.
And it for those who don't know, it is when Palpatine sent out the order for all the clone troopers to kill the Jedi. Just that's it.
But you can glean enough from reading it that oh shit, this is something terrible that happened.
That was something bad. Yes.
And now there are no Jedi. So what could it have been? Like,
the Jedi do not exist. It's semantics, but it's there. At this point, Obi-Wan Kenobi is Ben Kenobi.
Yes.
Watch out for that on Disney+.
I can't wait.
I cannot wait for that. And, Yoda's out there waiting to train Luke.
Yeah.
So they are there. And there'll be people like Ahsoka who were not members of the Jedi Order when Order 66 was enacted. And there's mention of Rex, and Rex was one of the clone troopers. And you might not get that from the book quite clearly, but the fact that he didn't actually carry out Order 66 is huge. So, it's there. Yeah. And I do quite like the fact that there's these little bits and pieces. The fact that she was fighting Darth Maul, and Darth Maul was, in The Phantom Menace, which is the first movie, so you're kind of like, hang on, I've seen the movies, but I might not have seen Clone Troopers or Rebels, or any of the other movies. You might not have seen Solo.
Yeah.
And gone, hang on
a minute.
He's back. I thought he was dead.
He is, depending on where you are in the timeline.
Yes. Yes. I'm just glad Darth Maul had something a bit more to do, because, you know, he was undersold in The Phantom Menace. One of many issues with the original trilogy, like the first 3 episodes. But that's a story for another time.
80 episodes.
Settle in, listeners, I have some words.
Can I tell you that I really enjoyed how surprisingly violent it was sometimes?
Yes, you may, because I agree.
Completely out of nowhere. You know, like, oh yeah, stuff's happening. Oh, they're in the cantina. Oh, that guy got shot point blank. Tabola's dead.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he was an asshole, but point blank,
didn't deserve that.
Dead. And then Hoban being hit with so many blasters that he was just exploded.
Mm-hmm.
And then Colvin being lightsabered in half, like, whoa, while all the blasts are going back and killing everyone else around him, and he's just like, whoom, and there he is, he's in 2 pieces. And Yara's like, oh, when she finds out that all of her friends are dead, like, oh, they're all dead. Everybody I know and love is dead.
That is going to mess you up, waking up to that. You are going to be messed up for life.
But can I tell you something that I just only thought about just a few moments ago that I also really enjoyed? That, who was it? What's his name? The guy with the V name. What's his name? Vartan has prosthetic limbs now, because it's not a Star Wars anything if somebody doesn't get an arm or a leg cut off.
Oh, exactly. And the fact that Zelda already had most of his like right half.
Yes.
And they made a matching pair in the end.
Yeah.
That was cute.
But I really appreciated that body parts got cut off, because that always happens.
Yes. And the thing is, in the Star Wars universe, it's not a bloody place, because everything cauterizes.
Yeah.
So it's efficient.
Yeah. It's fine. Those are the things that I really, really liked.
6th brother, or the grey creature, depending on whose point of view you're reading through at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little let down by him.
Because he was done, just died.
Yeah, we call that kind of thing. It's the same with Darth Maul, actually, the Lurts of the piece. So do you remember in Lord of the Rings, the character Lurtz?
Mm-hmm.
And how he's like upped as this big Uruk-hai, you know, the leader of the Uruk-hai army, sort of Saruman's Uruk-hai army, who's going to get the hobbits and kick ass, and then dies in about 2 seconds. Yeah,
just immediately dead.
Yeah, so we in my house we call that being the Lurts of the piece.
Oh, I like that.
And 6th brother was a Lurtz.
Yes,
because he's big upped as this scary, intimidating creature. What is he? Oh my god, he's got force powers and a dual-wielding red lightsaber. He's evil. He's going to go and hunt some prey. Grrr. And then he doesn't last 5 minutes. No. I mean, there's a Fast and Furious. There's a couple of pages of fighting that is summed up in the fighting was fast and furious.
Yes.
But it's just a lot of bouncing around and force pushing and stuff. Yeah. And Ahsoka's like, bitch, give us your crystals.
Right, that's all he's there for.
That's my bling.
That's all he's there for. Like, just explode his lightsaber, burgle his crystals.
Yes. And I did really like the fact that she's finally, like, Bail finally gets that explanation of why the lightsabers are always red for the bad guys, for the Sith or the dark side, and it's because they've been corrupted and they've bled.
Yes.
And she's, healed them and brought balance back to the crystals, so the white. And her white lightsabers are beautiful.
Yeah, but absolutely nobody beautiful. Else's are white. It's because she healed them.
She's healed them, exactly. Now I want to know whose crystals were they? If they've been burgled from the Jedi Temple and she feels their familiarity,
I don't know.
Then to me, that's their crystal. Either both crystals belonged to somebody she knew or 2 people that she knew.
Yeah. But we
Because
don't
her-
know. But we don't know.
We don't know, because her original crystals were left on Rex's
Grave.
grave.
Yeah.
So they're not hers. That's the one thing I'm sure of. They're not her original
Right.
crystals.
No, I'm pretty sure if they had been hers, they would have been singing to her the whole time, and she would have known.
She would have known about it.
She would have known.
She would. They wouldn't have said that they were from the Jedi Temple, because that's not where hers came
Right.
from. So we know that Anakin went and murdered everybody in the Jedi Temple,
Mhm.
including the kids.
Yes, he murdered all of the children.
Not for the first time Anakin Skywalker murdered children. He did that to the Sand People too, but that's fine. I'll still have sex with you, Padme. Do not have sex
Stop
with
it,
a man
Padme.
who kills kids. It's bad. Right, rant over for that time. And so, whose are they? I want to know, but I don't think we'll ever know. And the other thing that I thought was like, ooh, was when the Grand Inquisitor at the end sends a message back to Lord Vader to say that evidence of another survivor. Who is this other survivor? Who gets to know? I gets to know. And it may be answered in one of the other books, but I haven't read a lot of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, this is the first Star Wars book I've ever read, and honestly, if we're being honest here, I don't really care for these types of books that come out like after the movies and after the universe has been created. I don't really care to read it, because I like my first introduction, the movies. That's what I care about. So, not that I didn't enjoy this book, but I don't care.
You don't need to be part of the expanded universe.
I don't.
And yeah, I'm quite enjoying it, and I know that Padme has got, I don't know if it's a trilogy. I think they might have done it as a trilogy. It might even be A.K. Johnson. I do not know. It's gone out of my head. But I wouldn't mind reading those stories, and that's because I don't feel like the character was given the justice in the movies. Better in Clone Wars. Padme in Clone Wars is much better, more assertive, actually does things, and doesn't mope around waiting for Anakin all the time. So I'm quite interested. But there's other stories within the expanded universe that I want to read. More the dark side.
Yeah,
Because that's
I'm a
not
little bit
explored as
disappointed in us that we didn't pick something more evil to read. But maybe that's just me. I feel like this is definitely like a lead in to Would You Rather. So maybe I'll just stop talking right now, but
much. Well, we can finish up our discussion here. I will say as well, the other thing I enjoyed was Bill Organa being in so much.
yes, I
Because-
loved all of those scenes with people that I already know.
Yeah.
Those were my favorites.
Bale for me, I mean, you don't, apart from Jimmy Smith being Bale Organa in the movies, and even then, it's not much.
But you
My mum
know
used
who
to
he
watch
is.
L.A. Law, and she drooled over Jimmy Smith, like,
I'm
seriously.
not surprised.
And it was really awkward.
He's a-
And, little Claire was like, ew, Mum, ew.
He's a strapping gentleman.
He is a strapping gentleman, and, good for you, Mrs. Organa. I can't remember what his mum's called. But I liked his interactions. I liked finding out more about his part in the Resistance,
Yes.
because you don't know that. It's not a story that's told in the canonical movies. So I appreciate him being mentioned quite so much and being part of it.
And it's a good setup, for him and why Leia is the way that she is. Because, look at
Yes.
her dad. Her dad.
And her mom's like the queen of a planet, so...
Yeah.
And then her biological mom was a queen and senator, and
Yeah.
let's not talk about her dad.
No, but we do. Again, stop it. Wait for the Would You Rather.
Anywho. Who was your favourite character? Did you have any?
I don't really have a favorite character.
Mine will forever be, no matter what you ask me, Who's your
Don't
favourite
say
character?
R2D2. That's
Is
cheating.
R2D2. No, it's not. My favourite character will forever be R2D2. Favourite character in Phantom Menace? R2D2. Favourite character in New Hope? R2D2.
I do always really enjoy the droids. In every movie. They're wonderful.
Well, I like the theory that the Star Wars movies, like the actual episodes, not Solo or any of the like the cartoons, the main movies are told from the perspective of the droids. I like that theory.
That's interesting. I don't know about that theory. I'll have to research it.
But yes, I'm sticking with it. R2 is my favourite.
That's fine. He wasn't in it
I mean,
very much.
He wasn't, but when he was in it, he was a little metal devil.
Can we play Would You Rather now? Is it time?
Yeah.
I feel like our pew pew pews should be R2D2 beeps this time. Nope.
We asked on social media, would you rather follow the path of the Jedi or go to the dark side, where they have cookies? And on Facebook, 63% said dark side. On Instagram, it was 75% for the Jedi. Twitter was straight up 50-50. And on TikTok, it was 65% to the dark side. And we have lots of comments because people are passionate about this subject.
Yes, they are.
Cat the Bat one of our lovely Patreon members on Instagram said, whatever team Ahsoka is on, I'm there. She's my ride or die for life. She follows the true way of the Jedi.
Constance on Facebook said, please, who do you think baked the cookies?
There was a massive conversation list on that one as well, but you're getting the prime content.
Yes, definitely.
Drew on Facebook said, well, I think red lightsabers are more fun. The cookies help.
Annie on Facebook says, I truly can't resist cookies. You mentioned them, and I immediately had to go find some to eat. Ginger snaps and tea. And I'm assuming if the dark side has cookies, they make an excellent pot of tea. Or maybe Constance make the cookies, and I make the tea. And then Constance replies, I do make a killer ginger snap. Everybody really needs to check out our Facebook page because we have some really stellar conversations there.
Yes, it's in the book club group as well.
Yes.
Bree on Facebook said, I will follow the path of the Jedi. Space wizards who don't have the self-destructive, cynical tradition of training apprentices who inevitably kill their master, thus leading to their eventual extinction. But I will reform it so they can have cookies too, because they really need to learn how to chill. Maybe I'll get the witches of Dothmere to help.
Colin on Facebook said, I shall remain with the light side of the Force rather than jumping ship to the hate cookie emo side. Better choice of lightsaber blades as well.
There was an entire conversation about cookies and emo hair as well.
Yes, there was. Check out the Facebook book club group. All the details.
At Stealthy Zodiac on TikTok said, cookies. No, cookies. It doesn't matter. I want to be destructively powerful, but I also want to use it for good, either personal or moral.
At djones742 on TikTok said, cookies, duh. And then I said, what if there are no cookies? And then their response was, damn, yep. Because everyone expects the Sith to just take cookies. Jedi would probably frown on a Force user just taking cookies. They probably would.
Probably would.
They're judgmental about the cookies.
They really are. Very Jedi judgy Jedi. And Amanda's Library.
We didn't have as many comments as I was expecting there to be this time. I'm very shocked.
You should express your displeasure with a red lightsaber and, just wear dark clothes and a hood, walk in there with a red lightsaber and then just start smacking everybody.
Yeah.
And then if they're wondering what you're doing, just scream like you're cosplaying Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah.
So the first comment we have from the library is, Jedi, you never know who you'll be killed off by, a pissed off Vader or Emperor?
Can I read my favorite comment?
Yes.
Dark side, more fashionable, and they wear my favorite color, black. Come to the dark side. We're chic.
And the last comment from the library is, Jedi, like Yoda, you can be.
Clearly, I am on the dark side.
Clearly.
This is not even a question. Evil, villain, always. I love Anakin Skywalker. What about you?
He's a freaking child killer.
I don't care.
He kills innocent people. His way of looking evil is to look over his eyebrows. Next time you watch the movies, look at Hayden Christensen. The way he does bad guy is just looks through his eyebrows.
Look, Hayden Christensen is one of the worst actors in the entire world. But I love him. I can't help it. I think everyone knows how I feel about things that are terrible. I love them. So...
Hang on. Are you going to tell me that you enjoy in The Phantom Menace when little Annie goes, woohoo?
No. I fucking hate child Anakin. It's terrible. Let him grow up a little bit. Give him his little ponytails, his little braids.
Oh, God, I hate the Padawan.
No, it's so bad. It's so bad.
It's so bad. It's like, why? Why? This is why people go to the dark side. Because it's chic.
Yeah.
You don't do shit like that.
You can cut off your little ponytails. And, like, look.
Honestly. Do you think they keep it?
No, I hope not.
I think they keep it in drawer.
No, gross.
With a special box.
No, it's terrible. But can I just say that...
It's archived in the Jedi Temple Library.
That's awful. Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader are two different people. I mean, I know, obviously, yes, they're two different people. Like, physically, the actors that play them are different people, but, like, they don't match up. And you know why? Do you know why that is? Because Hayden Christensen is one of the most terrible actors on the planet.
It's not good. It's not good.
But I don't care because I love him. So, shut up, everyone.
It's in episode 3 when after, he gets his arm and his legs chopped off by Obi-Wan and, he gets set on fire by the lava.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Obi-Wan's like, you like a brother to me, and then wanders off. And you're like, no, don't wander off. Make sure that you've completed the job. Oh, Obi-Wan, okay.
Yep.
Yeah. And then he gets picked up and he's like, ah. It's like, yeah, that is gonna sting. You need some cream.
Yeah, you do.
And then suddenly, Darth Vader emerges and it leads up and it goes, and then
yes.
It's James Earl Jones' voice. It's like, nah, there's no way that voice can come out of Hayden Christensen.
No,
and
never.
I don't care that he's in the Darth Vader suit, so it's going to be voice modulated.
No. Anyway,
I am not going to go to the dark side. I'm going to go to the light side. But I'm going to make better choices. I'm not going to be a Jedi. I'll pick the light side of the Force, but I will not be a Jedi because I don't understand the whole Jedi thing about not having attachments. And, I understand don't let emotions rule you, but emotions are very powerful.
they are.
And if you have attachments, if you have friends and family, that's a reason to fight.
Yeah.
And, the dark side take it too far. Plus, the whole there's only ever a master and apprentice, and then it just kill each other off.
Yeah.
That's old. Like, come on, get a new shtick. But also, if you look at Luke Skywalker, when he embraces the Force and starts calling himself a Jedi, he wears black all the time as well.
It's true, he does. But I'm pretty sure I read that he wears black because he gained weight in between filming the movies, and black hid his figure.
Well, as a larger statured person, I'm almost spherical. I will take the black as well. I will accessorize with other colours, and the other colours will be the lightsaber.
Nice. Good.
Better colours. I don't want a red lightsaber. I don't know what colour lightsaber I want, but yeah, I don't want a red one.
I mean, obviously, like, I would probably pick green or purple because those are my favorite colors, but, you know, if I have to have a red one, it's okay. Because I'm evil. And I've made my crystals bleed.
Wow.
Anyway, next question. Would you rather live on Raeda or the Beskha?
Raeda sounds hard. For all the fact it's a more lush planet.
At the beginning.
Yes. Moon. Maybe the planet's
Right,
moon.
it's a moon.
It sounds harder. I think I would probably pick the Beskha. I'm going to go with the Beskha because I think there's more variety.
Yeah.
And, you know...
There's more to do.
Yes. There's like the fields to work in all day and then the cantina on a night time and that's it.
Yeah. There's
Riada.
not a whole lot going on Raeda.
Yeah, so I think the Beskha is the better option.
Yeah, I agree.
Even if it is a dry, sunny, backwater, Tatooine-style planet.
Yeah, but still, there's more going on. It's not just a tiny moon.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to join you on the Beskha.
Cool. Would you rather fight one Sith or 100 Stormtroopers?
The Stormtroopers can't hit anything, so I'm fighting the Stormtroopers. This is Star Wars canon. They are the worst. So I'm picking the Stormtroopers because I will not be injured at all.
From 2 foot away from them.
No.
I think that... Do you think that's how people can tell the difference between a clone trooper and like a recruited, indentured Stormtrooper? Because if you're a clone trooper, you can hit. If you are an indentured Stormtrooper, you can't hit for toffee. So it's not the voices, because they never take the helmets off.
Yeah.
So it's not the voices that you can tell. It's their targeting ability.
Yeah, it's the fact that they're not terrible shots.
Yes. Yes. I too am going to fight 100 Stormtroopers because one Sith would just force choke the shit out of me.
Yeah. And that would be me.
Yes. Stop it. Stop it. Look at Chewie's eyes.
You know
You want
what?
to force choke him?
If I could,
You want to force choke him?
if I could force choke somebody, I would do it.
Oh, well, without a doubt. If I had force powers, I'd be using it to press the button on the remote control, even if it was like half a foot away from me.
Yeah, I just all over the place.
Oh, I would learn how to make a cup of tea from sitting on the sofa.
Yeah. But I would also use mine for evil. Because of course I would, because I'm a villain.
Yes. This is why I like Rey. She can use force lightning, and traditionally a Jedi can't. Or doesn't.
Look, we don't need...
Because she's more grey.
Look, we don't need to start talking about Rey, because I think everyone in the entire universe can agree that the whole of that trilogy would have been better if she had turned bad. If she had been evil.
Yes.
It would have been so good.
That is an episode in and of itself.
It really
how we
is.
set those right. And we'd have to have Brian on that conversation.
We definitely
as well.
would. We definitely would have to have her.
Yeah.
All right, next question. Would you rather have a single lightsaber, a double-edged lightsaber, or 2 lightsabers?
A single lightsaber.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Because if I have a double-edged lightsaber or 2 lightsabers, I'm taking my own arm off.
But that's
double-edged one.
But that's what you're
without a
supposed to
doubt.
do in Star Wars. You're supposed to lose an appendage.
I don't want to be the one that loses the limb. I want the other person to lose the limb. If I've got a double-edged lightsaber, I'm losing my leg, my head. Something's going to fall off and damage done. So probably a single. But 2 looks so cool.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to go 2. Screw it, I'm going to go 2 because, you know, I've got my hands, both of them in there. There's a good chance I'll keep them further apart. Oh, no. Crap.
Right, because, I mean, you don't want to hit them together, so you got to keep your arms apart.
Oh, you want to hit them together just for the get the sound. You know, this isn't Ghostbusters where you're not supposed to cross the streams.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I just really wanted to put my arms out here, which you can only see if you join our Patreon bonus tier, but...
That would be cool.
Yeah. I'm going double-edged lightsaber. I like the idea of fighting with a bow staff, and that's essentially what it is. Although, typically, like, if I'm playing video games with weapons, I typically choose dual-wielded blades because they're faster than, like, a longsword. You know, you gotta use 2 hands. But I just like... I like the double-edged lightsaber. I do. I like it. I like...
What colour would yours be then?
I mean, I feel like I don't have a choice. It has to be red. But I like the idea of spinning it in an obnoxious circle that's just a little too showy. I enjoyed that part. I enjoyed that scene. But I mean, I feel like it would have to be red. I don't have a choice. If I had to pick, though, I'd...
If the bleed wasn't an issue.
I don't know. You answer first.
Do you know what I really like? In The Mandalorian, the blade that he has, which is essentially a lightsaber blade, and it's black.
That is nice.
It's a sexy beast.
Yeah.
If I could, I would have that.
You know, I think I might go Mace Windu and do purple.
I love the purple.
I love the purple. And also, I mean, it's Samuel L. Jackson.
I do love the purple lightsaber. That's the dream.
Yeah.
Purple or white. And now I've seen Ahsoka's white ones, though. I'm like, ooh,
yeah.
Nice. Last question.
Okay.
Would you rather be part of the Resistance with Bail or Fardy?
Bail. Without doubt. Without question. I kind of found the Fardy family annoying. There were too many of them. It was too much.
Too many children. That was confusing.
It was way too many children. Like, I mean, they talked about it in the book. Like, nobody can tell us apart. Nobody, like, and the children laugh when Ahsoka doesn't remember which one is which. But that's just annoying.
I mean, that's intentional.
It is. But there were too many of them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to hang out with Bail. I'm going to break into Bail's office.
Bail's more organised. He
Well, I mean, his name is Organa. He has to be organized.
True.
Wah, sorry.
Not going to be based on Alderaan.
No.
For starters.
Okay.
At least for 15 years. I can go there for 15 years, but after that I'm going to make sure I've set up base somewhere else. But the thing, the part of the Resistance in 2 different fronts though, because the Fardis are ground level, they're trying to get food and supplies and help ground level to people.
Yeah.
Whereas Bail is more trying to... I mean, he's trying to do that.
But he's bigger picture.
Yes, he's longer term.
Yeah.
Fardy's more immediate help, but I think Bail's more long term.
Yeah. And
we need to get rid of the Emperor.
Yeah, and I like to play a long game. So...
Yeah. I'm with you there.
Yeah.
I think there's probably more things you can do that would kind of like be good for your skill sets as well.
Yeah.
More scope for promotion and personal development. Real CV bolsters.
Yes. That's the only reason why. So it'll look good on your resume. Okay. Favorite final thought quote? What do you got?
Got a couple.
Okay. What do you got?
This one, because it's far too real. I relate so hard to this one.
Okay.
And it's actually an Obi-Wan Kenobi quote. He stood up. his knees creaking in a rather alarming fashion. Surely he wasn't that old yet? I really had hard.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Hard.
What else? What else do you have?
Her authority was gone. Her power remained.
Oh, yeah.
I like that one. I think that one's very Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else? Any others?
I'm going to have to go with an R2-D2 one as well. One of the problems with spending a lot of time with an astromech droid was that one tended to continue talking to it even when it was no longer there to talk to. Because, yeah, who doesn't do that? You'll do it with your cats.
Yes.
You do it with people.
Yes.
I do it with my PG Tips chimp.
You do it with a monkey butler?
He's my monkey butler. And a Chewbacca.
Okay.
Okay. What have you got?
Wow, I didn't expect this one to tie into our Would You Rather game so much, but she almost admired Palpatine for his ability to pull off a long-term plan. Except for his being evil and all.
He's not a lovable asshole either. He is point blank evil.
He's the worst.
He's a jerk.
Espionage with Anakin Skywalker always ended with explosions, and Ahsoka had no intention of going that far. And then finally, I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating. It gets everywhere. That's not included in this book. I'm sorry, but I had to pull it up because of my love for Anakin Skywalker and the sand court. Sorry. I'm sorry. That did not happen in this book. I wish I could have kept a straight face, but I couldn't because I just imagined it happening and it was so bad.
Damn.
Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry, Hayden Christensen.
You're not. Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, Hayden Christensen. Alright. If you liked this, try this.
What's our favourite thing, Amanda?
Tenuous links.
And vampires.
Oh, vampires. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Vampires.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
And what does Star Wars not seem to have?
Are there vampires at all? Hard to say.
Yes. It's called Red Harvest. Star Wars Legends book. So it's by Joe Schreiber. I don't know if it's canonical anymore because I think it might have been before they did like a reboot in the book series. Okay. But essentially it's Star Wars with vampires.
Oh, okay. Nice.
The era of the Old Republic is dark and dangerous time as Jedi Knights valiantly battle the Sith Lords and their ruthless armies. But the Sith have disturbing plans and none more so than the fulfillment of Darth Scabrous' fanatical dream, which is about to become nightmarish reality. Ooh. Unlike those other Jedi sidelined to the agricultural corps, young Jedi whose abilities have not proved up to snuff, Ezio Trace possesses one extraordinary Force talent, a gift with plants. Suddenly, her quiet existence among greenhouse and garden specimens is violently destroyed by the arrival of an emissary from Darth Scabrous. For the rare black orchid that she is nurtured and bonded with is the final ingredient in an ancient Sith formula that promises to grant Darth Scabrous his greatest desire. But at the heart of the formula is a never-before-seen virus that's worse than fatal. It doesn't just kill, it transforms. Now the rotting, ravenous dead are rising, driven by a bloodthirsty hunger for all things living, and commanded by a Sith master with an insatiable lust for power, and the ultimate prize, immortality. No matter the cost.
Ooh, nice.
Which I'm kind of wishing we covered that this one.
I know.
This month, because it hits a lot of our marks.
It really does.
Yeah. But we've gone for girl power instead.
That's also fine. But I'm just really surprised that, especially this one. I'm sorry that I didn't catch you asking what our favorite thing was, because in my head I was just thinking, well, whenever we do.
I mean, it's
tenuous
yeah, it would be
links,
hashtag
so-
tenuous link, but it's a Star Wars book, so
Right,
it's
so it's
hashtag right on the mark.
hashtag
link.
very, very obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's Star Wars
with vampires, and I'm really upset that we didn't read it. I wonder if it has an audiobook, and I wonder if the audiobook is very cinematic. Probably not if it was in the before times.
I don't know. I mean,
Anyway.
possibly. Anyway, what have you got?
I was interested since the background information, having read that quote from Cecil Castellucci. So I picked Moving Target, a Princess Leia adventure. Reeling from their disastrous defeat on Hoth, the heroic freedom fighters of the Rebel Alliance have scattered throughout space, pursued by the agents of the sinister Galactic Empire. One rebel task force protects Princess Leia, bearing her in secrecy from star to star. As the last survivor of Alderaan's House of Organa, Leia is a symbol of freedom, hunted by the Empire she has opposed for so long. The struggle against Imperial tyranny has claimed many rebel lives. As the Empire closes in, Leia resolves to make a sacrifice of her own, lest the cause of freedom be extinguished from the galaxy.
Ooh.
You can't go wrong with Leia. Even if
can't.
I do always choose the dark side in every way, shape, or form. I mean, you can't not love Orca. You can't not love Leia.
Because Carrie Fisher will come back and bitch slap
She
you.
will.
She was a legend. R.I.P. Carrie Fisher.
Yes.
I don't know Carrie Fisher, but I miss Carrie Fisher. She's one of those celebrities where you miss their presence.
Yeah.
And Red Harvest does have an audiobook read by John Glover.
Okay, well, I wonder if it's cinematic. I'll have to borrow it and check it out.
Tempted to press sample, but I'm not going to. Anywho, do we have an indie spotlight this week?
Yes. Unfortunately, it is not Star Wars themed. Sorry.
No.
There's not a whole lot of indie Star Wars out there. I feel like that's against the law. So...
However, George Lucas gave Star Wars rights to pretty much absolutely everybody. So...
Yeah.
Family Guy?
Yeah, okay. So I just chose another that's, kind of tenuous-ish. It just sounded good. I don't know. It's called Wounded Little Gods by Eliza Victoria. Regina was born and raised in the small town of Heridos, where gods and spirits walked the earth. Until they didn't.
Ooh.
10 years ago, the town's harvest failed utterly, and the people, believing the gods had abandoned them, left their farms and moved on. See, it's a ruined farm. There's your tenuous link.
Ah.
Now, on a Friday before a long weekend, Regina ends her workday at an office in Makati and walks home with a new colleague, Diana. Following a strange and disturbing conversation between them, Diana does not show up at work on Monday. Or Tuesday. Or Wednesday.
Ooh.
On Thursday, Regina finds a folded piece of paper in her bag. In Diana's handwriting are 2 names and a strange map that will send Regina back to her hometown. Here, in her quest to find Diana, she encounters rumors of genetic experiments, stumbles upon a strange facility that no one seems to know about, finds herself in places that don't exist, and discovers that people are not who they seem to be. And the biggest question in the bizarre chain of events is not what or how, but why. As Regina struggles to unwind the knots surrounding the mystery of this facility and the people connected to it, she discovers that she is more intertwined in the strange events in her hometown than she ever knew.
Ooh. Sounds interesting.
It does. It does sound very interesting. Okay. Is that it?
I think so.
That's it. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it for this episode of Fictional Hangover. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Claire. And may the force be with you.
Join us next time as we discuss Omen's Bite by PCcast and KristenCast. Yee! Look out for our Would You Rather polls on social media. Don't forget about our book club and monthly challenges on Facebook. Be sure to visit our shop on Redbubble at fictionalhangover.redbubble.com for all your favorite fictional hangover themed merchandise, and become a patron of ours on Patreon at patreon.com/fictionalhangover. Until next time, remember, the only cure for a fictional hangover is another book.
You can find us at fictionalhangover.com, follow us on Instagram at fictionalhangover, find us on Facebook at facebook.com/fictionalhangover, and on Twitter at fictionalhangover, no ER. If you'd like this episode, check out our others and rate, review and subscribe so you don't miss out. And finally, special thanks to Liz Emerson for our music. You can find her on Facebook and Patreon. Thanks for listening.